Lions fans, welcome to episode 34 Just Lying Around, a Detroit Lions podcast presented by the World of Football. I'm your host, Kyle Sutherland, and I'm joined by my co-host and brother-in-law, Adam Snow. Adam, the Lions are 2-0 against the Chiefs here. How you feeling about that?
It doesn't matter. It's fine. It's preseason. I'm not counting, that towards our record against the Chiefs. 2-0. I won't even go there. All I know is there's a lot of guys I want to really talk about this game. Yeah, the Lions got the W, but I think Frank and I are both excited about one guy in particular, and that's the man with the golden foot, Jake Bates. I'm sure we'll get there.
Well, you're wrong there. It's not Frank, it's Fred. So,
Fred today. What up, Fred?
All right. On today's show, we're going to cover the second preseason game versus Chiefs, cover some news, and then look ahead at the last preseason game versus Steelers. So let's just jump into it here. The Lions at the Chiefs. Lions beat the Chiefs by 1 point, 24-23. Looks like the first half there was kind of back and forth. Then I felt like even second half, the Lions defense kind of stepped it up and basically shut down the Chiefs for the latter part of the game there. And so let's just jump into the stats real quick. Lions, Nate Sudfeld with that beautiful weather in Kansas City looked a little more comfortable there. He had 14-27 for 196 yards, one touchdown, and a really, I think, bad interception he threw. I don't know what he was thinking there. And then Hendon Hooker took over for the second half there, 12 of 15 for 150 yards, 5 carries, 11 yards, and 1 touchdown. One guy here I'm really excited for, Sione Vaki. He had 6 carries for 22 yards, also 4 receptions for 59 yards, and have Isaiah Williams, kind of a dark horse out of training camp, coming out of nowhere. He had 6 receptions, 72 yards, and 1 carry for 11 yards. And Adam Snow's favorite kicker, Jake Bates, 4-4, longest being a 55-yarder. But he did miss a extra point. So overall, pretty dang good day for him. And then let's jump to the Chiefs real quick. The Chiefs did actually play their starters the first couple series. We had Patrick Mahomes, 8 of 14 for 93 yards, and that weird behind the back pass to Travis Kelce there. And then their draft pick for this year, Xavier Worthy, had 3 receptions for 62 yards and a touchdown and 1 carry for 11 yards. Team stats, I'll go through this quickly. Lions had total yards, 490 yards, and Chiefs had 276 yards. Passing yards, the Lions 342 yards, Chiefs 202 yards. Rushing yards, Lions 117 yards, and Chiefs 74 yards. And the yards per play, Lions was 6.2 and the Chiefs with 4.9 yards. So out of that game, honestly, I think the Lions have finally found their nickel slot defender. It sounds like Brian Branch will be moving to that safety position, and that is with Amik Robertson. This is his second game so far. He's played that nickel position, and he's looking pretty dang good out there at that nickel slot there.
Yeah, I think Robertson showed a lot on the defense there. Maybe 1 or 2 plays that kind of got away from him, but I mean, for the most part, he seemed to be right there on the receivers. I dug what I saw to him on the defense. I don't know where else you want to go with it, but I want to talk about some of these guys like that you already mentioned. So like Isaiah Williams, what a day he had. Very impressed with him. I'm not saying he's that guy that everybody's been talking. Like the narrative all week has been, who's the number 3, wide receiver number 3. I don't know if it's Williams, but I think Williams has made his case to at least maybe make it up on the fringe part of the roster. Get on the roster, maybe even stay on the practice squad type guy. If he keeps playing like this next week, and maybe he finds that roster spot. I don't know, but I like what I saw out of him. And Sione Vaki,
Yeah.
Sion Vaki, however you say his first name, Vaki there. I've been liking watching him the last 2 weeks. He's been a fun dude to watch. I mean, alone having the 6 carries, I thought he had some decent vision, but the catches, being able to catch the ball out of the backfield is something the Lions really want to do. Between a Montgomery and a Gibbs, that's their specialty. That's something that they can do when they need to. And having Vaki who can do that exact same thing, totally to me says that he's essentially a lock for that third running back position.
Yep.
Or hybrid receiver. Probably doesn't even get a position title. He's just athlete out there and can do kind of what like a Cordell Patterson used to do. Maybe you can start working him into some different areas. But I'll save my Jake Bates love. I'll save it for a little bit. But I do want to talk about this quarterback battle that they got going on. I'm not a fan of Nate Sudfeld. I thought he did look better. That offensive line, the second string offensive line, looked a lot better this week, I think, especially. Gave him some time. I still think Sudfeld holds onto the ball a little too long. He did make a couple of great throws. He even had like a couple nice runs, I think, where he just took off, got the first down. I was like, all right, Sudfeld, I see what you got. But he didn't instill that confidence. Now, Hooker, I liked when Hooker came in. Hooker also had some of the same issues, maybe hold on the ball a little long, still looking at his reads, but hey, that's what he's literally only played 2 preseason games in the NFL. We're going to cut this guy some slack. But his upside, Hooker's upside just gives me so much more confidence that I would rather him be behind center if Jared Goff went down. Hooker has, that touchdown he ran in for example, they said it on the broadcast, he looked at like almost every progression before he just went to his legs. Like some of those guys who are running quarterbacks, or who are known as running quarterbacks, kind of take one look and just book it. I feel like Hooker did a great job of go through your progressions, and then he's like, oh, I see a hole, I'm going to take it, and he got the touchdown for it. So Hooker, I'm liking seeing him. I would love to see him get, I don't know what the Lions' plan is next week. I thought it was weird the Chiefs started Mahomes and like their whole starting offense, which, by the way, your second string defense held Mahomes to only 6 points, 2 field goals, which is pretty great. I mean, they make a couple little tweaks on the defense, like stop that long bomb. You hold Patrick Mahomes to a punt, and that's your second string defense. That would have been impressive, but still holding Mahomes to 6 points was impressive. But I don't know. I think seeing Hooker out there just gives me a little more confidence, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I want to jump over to, you mentioned Vaki and Isaiah Williams. I think the way Vaki's playing right now, if he was behind that first string offensive line, I could definitely see him taking that running back 3 position away from Craig Reynolds. The way he's running, the way he's catching the balls after the catch, the yards after the catch. So yeah, but with Isaiah Williams also, the big talk was out of camp was wide receiver 3 or 4. I think that number 3 is definitely going to go to the
DPJ?
guy who. What's that? No.
You don't think it'll go to Donovan Peoples-Jones?
No, not the way with he's playing, or even Darius Fountain. They were talking about him, but I think Isaiah Williams definitely has that chance to be the wide receiver number 4. But yeah, you're talking about Sudfeld. He had a pretty good day, except for that bad throw into coverage with that interception. But yeah, I felt after the half when Hooker took over, it was just a lot calmer. He was reading his progressions, throwing the ball downfield, running it or whatever. It looked a lot smoother. Besides that one bad handoff to Funk there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like Hooker right now should have that quarterback number 2 spot. It is his job to lose that spot, which I highly doubt that's going to happen next week. So, yeah, it'll be interesting.
Do you think the Lions put Goff in next week then, or do you think none of the starters next week either?
I mean, I would hate to start the season, them all kind of rusty, actually playing their first game. So, yeah, I'd like to see like the starters play like a snap or a series,
snap.
At least one series. But yeah, I wouldn't put them too much put them in more than that.
Yeah. And real quick about Hooker too. What I liked seeing was, while yes, he's playing against second, third strings, maybe even some fourth string guys that may or may not make that Chiefs roster on defense. His timing. He threw some really good balls out there. Uh-oh. Was I boring your conversation? Was I boring
Uh,
you?
no, we're good. Go ahead.
Okay. You just like beelined when I started talking about that. I'm like, dang, dude. Can't even show me that respect, huh? But no, I think he threw a couple of darts. He threw a couple of really well timed balls. So yeah, I'm very confident in him. But the thing you look for also, like the wins and losses, whatever. It's awesome that they won. It was a fun game actually to watch the whole thing. But when it comes down to it, you want to see, do these guys trying to make the roster do the little things right, and that's holding on to the football. Are you making the smart heads up plays? Are you not causing penalties and all that? Because I mean, ball security was something today that was kind of a theme. Lions fumbled the ball a couple of
Yeah.
times during the game. The Chiefs did as well, but the Chiefs were able to kind of jump back on it a couple of times. So that's something we got to watch out for. If you're one of those guys making a roster, that's a big thing. If you're trying to make that kick return or special teams, dude, you got to hold on to the ball.
Yep. Yeah, like you mentioned, ball security. We had 3 fumbles today. We had Calhoun kick return, fumble the ball. Um, Williams punt return, another fumble, and even the announcer there was saying like these guys are waving this football all around. They need to have it high and tight into their bodies, not loose, having a defender come up and knock it out of their hands.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then
I agree
last
with
we
you,
had
Fred.
Hooker, Hooker to Frank handoff, bad handoff there, fumble. Um, so yeah, hopefully I know the coaches are going to drill them this week, make sure they clean it up, and I'd like to see that progress next week against the Steelers there.
Yeah, for sure.
So I know our last topic here. I know you're itching to talk about this guy, so I'll let you take this away.
Hey, look, Jake Bates has been everything we have been promised and more. Can he kick point after attempts? Apparently not. I can't blame him. I mean, that's the first time the Lions scored a touchdown all preseason, so he's probably a little rusty. So give him some flack there, or cut him some slack, because I I do think it was weird he missed that one, but he's going to nail a 55-yard field goal. But it is what it is. Get him some more reps. At least it's the preseason he's doing this. But I thought he looked great out there. He even got the opportunity at the end of the game to kick that 40. What was it? A 43-yarder to win the game.
Yep.
And while you use the term high pressure situation, I mean the Lions gave it to him with 2 seconds left. They put it on the hash mark that he wants it, and he drilled it. Luckily, I mean the Chiefs couldn't ice him. But you do what you got to do in those situations. It's the ball is literally going to be on your foot. You got to make it to win the game, and he did it. And I think that's a step in the right direction. I'm not saying that guarantee makes him. I mean, while he is the only kicker on the roster right now, but I think it guarantees at least that we have a guy who's capable, and I have more faith in him than I ever did Badgley when we had Badgley, or a couple of those other guys, even Riley Patterson when we had Riley Patterson on the roster. I have more confidence in Jake Bates kicking field goals than anybody else since Matt Prater came to Detroit.
Yep. Like you said, he's the only kicker on the roster, so I think the Lions do have faith in him. So he did make 4 of 4 today. Kicking those field goals outside, I know that was the talk of the town. Kicking outside was his weak point. He did make all 4 today. Even last week, kicking that field goal and the downpour that was at the Giants there also helped him. So yeah, if he comes out of the Steelers game, kicking more field goals, making them, yeah, I can see him being the starter there, and you can finally get that jersey you're talking about.
I will get that Jake Bates jersey. You make no mistake. I hope he changes the number. I don't like him wearing 43. I hope he gets a different number. But I also think Ford Field's going to be really rowdy every time he goes out to kick. You know it. Everyone's going to be hyped for some Jake Bates field goal kicking next week at Ford Field. I cannot wait.
Yeah, it'd be interesting, like if they get like a good lead, just to see stretch the field, see how long he can actually kick a field goal there.
Well, we know he can kick a 60-something yarder. I mean, he already did it in Ford Field. I'd love to, I mean, he's been doing it in practice, but yeah, I would love to see him give him maybe a situation where Campbell, instead of going for it on fourth down at your 40 or at the 45-yard line, whatever it is, what would the range be? Just, hey, let Bates go out there and just give it a shot. Who cares? Like,
Yeah,
it's a preseason game. It doesn't matter. Even if he misses it, it's whatever. It's preseason. This is the time to do that sort of stuff. I'd love to see it.
yeah. We'll finally get to see a 70-yard field goal kick.
God willing, please.
I think he's done it a couple times in practices, so
Well,
we'll see.
that's what I want.
Yep. So let's move on to a few Lions news here. I want to give a quick shout out to the owner, Randy Snow of the World of Football, for getting this cup for me here. So thank you on that part. But Adam,
Takes
I
real
want
good
to talk.
care of his employees, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. But I want to talk about the Super Bowl bet here. Have you placed
Oh,
it on the Lions winning the Super Bowl?
have I? No. Randy, this is the second year in a row he's gone out to do that. Last year we made a video about him doing that. This year, I guess he found out that the local Firekeepers Casino does not take in-person bets anymore, and that's what he wanted to do. He likes the novelty of going in and placing the bet to a person or somebody in the casino. Now he can only do it on his phone. He's like, I don't want to do that. Had to drive all the way up to Gun Lake Casino up there. This is like
Okay, yep.
a 40, like what is it, like a 40 minute drive north of Kalamazoo, something like that. And he went to go place his bet and had to post it all over social media. He was so happy about it. Putting his money where his mouth is, though. You got to respect that.
We'll see. Like the Lions are pretty good odds over it right now of going to the Super Bowl and maybe winning it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
all right. Some other news here, real quick. Came out of training camp this week. Gibbs, Arnold, and Rakestraw all hurt. Gibbs with a hamstring, Arnold with a pec, and Rakestraw with an ankle. I know those first two guys I was talking about there. It sounds like from Dan Campbell that they're all right. They'll be good to go. Um, hopefully by the start of the regular season. I haven't heard anything about Rakestraw yet. Hopefully he's all right as well. So yeah, some disasters diverted there, and yeah, hopefully they do actually get to start the season.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it was great news when Dan Campbell said he would be fine. Because, I mean, you feel like by now, if it was something serious, we would have heard about it. Because there's been just a plethora of injuries across the NFL of just
Oh
season
yeah.
enders for a lot of guys. And it's been scary. I don't know what it's been. We talked about it on the podcast this week. Um, but it's just all over the league. I don't know what's got to be different. If players are just not conditioning the right way, or are they just getting a little too physical in practice too early? I really don't know what the answer is, but it's just been a trend I've noticed across the entire league this year so far, and it's just been, just makes you raise an eyebrow. Like, are we good? Is everything okay?
Yeah, I'd hate to be a Vikings fan right now with all their injuries and all their mishaps, and especially
Man,
JJ McCarthy's out for the season already with
you hate to
he
see
had to
it.
have knee surgery. So
You hate to see it. I mean, count your blessings that you're not a Vikings fan right now. Just in terms of the injuries, I'm not saying anything else. It just sucks. The gauntlet of injuries and scary, weird things that have happened to some of their guys this offseason has been totally bizarre.
yep. So I think they'll have like at least some practices this week before the Steelers. But so let's move on to preseason game number 3, the last one this year. Lions at home versus the Steelers. Saturday, August 24th at 1 p.m. on NFL Network, Fox, in certain areas. Couple takeaways I want to see more of. Again, Hooker, Vaki, and Williams. I want to see more out of those guys. And I want to see this defensive line. Maybe, I know we had Pascal starting today. I want to see some more pressure up the middle or on the sides. I know we saw today Matthew Betts out of the Canadian Football League had a couple great pressures. So yeah, I want to see more of that.
Yeah, for sure. I was going to mention Betts. He was a guy who had a few opportunities early on. I think he was offsides at one point too, because at a couple points watching him, I was like, I couldn't really tell the number. I saw the 9, I couldn't tell what the second number was, and I was like, is that Aiden Hutchinson out there getting ready to, rush that outside? And it was Betts, and then I was like, oh, okay, good to see Betts out there doing that. So I mean, it'd be nice to see Betts, make the roster, and if he can play like that, that'd be special too.
Yep. So, yeah. Anything else to add from today's game?
Oh, from today's game, not really. But looking at the game against the Steelers, um, I would think seeing what the defense does. I don't know if they're going to play Russell Wilson or if Justin Fields is going to get a bunch of snaps. Obviously, we've played against Fields before. I'd be curious to see how that defense plays against a running quarterback. That's something we gotta get better at. That was one of our weaknesses last year, and I'd be curious to see that for a lot of these second string, third string guys, how they handle that. I would also like to see, like you mentioned, maybe a series with the starters out there, but I wonder if we didn't even see them at all. I don't remember if Goff ever played at all in the preseason last year. So it depends on what the Lions' philosophy is going to be. I'm wondering at this point if we won't even see any of the starters next week at all, and it'll just be the second string guys, maybe a handful of first string guys with like Hooker or Sudfeld out there just to, I don't know, get a nice little warm up. But I don't think you see Amon-Ra. I don't think you see Goff. Maybe as much as I would, like I said, a series would be nice, but I don't know if we'll actually see him.
Yeah, I'd like to see Hooker start rather than
That'd be
Sudfeld.
great.
But
I would love to see Hooker get some action with a handful of starters, or at
yeah,
least with maybe partial first team offensive line would also be nice, just to see him with an actual like the best offensive line in the league. Like, what's that pocket going to do for him, and what can he do with that at his disposal?
yeah, we'll see. Like I've seen a few things on the Steelers quarterback out of Chicago, who's now a Steelers. Um, I don't think he's cutting it at the quarterback position because there's talks of him being a punt return. Now he's trying out for wide receiver. So it'll be interesting for that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to expect. So all bets are off when it comes to preseason game 3. Who knows?
Yep. So without anything else, let's go ahead and close it out here.
All right, sounds good. All right, guys, we hope you enjoyed listening to today's episode and come back for more. Be sure to visit the World of Football's website at www.theworldoffootball.com for news, links, upcoming events, original articles, videos, and more. If you want to get in touch with us, why don't you just send us an email over at info@theworldoffootball.com, or you can just connect with us by liking one of our many social media platforms. That includes Facebook, X, Instagram, all those platforms. Just look for at TWOF Kalamazoo. Be sure to check our flagship show This Week in the World of Football on any podcast platform you use. We're probably on that one. And those episodes drop every single Tuesday. And so you can also find that on the YouTube channel if you're looking for that. And links will be down in the description below.
All right, sounds good. That's it for us this week. We have one more preseason game to go, and then start off with the regular season. So hopefully we start out with a bang there. Go 4-0 before the bye. But yeah, we'll see. Anyways, thanks for watching today. Thanks for listening, all that stuff. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe button, and we'll see you next week. Thank you.
Bye, guys.